The regular notice requirement of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act has been complied with. In that advance, notice of this meeting was given at least 48 hours in advance. On June 20th, 2018, notice was mailed to the Courier Post. On June 21st, 2018, notice was mailed to the Philadelphia Inquirer.
When I call your name, please say present. Teresa Atwood. Present. Ms. Catherine Blackshear. Mr. Jose Guido Breno. Ms. Taisha Munir. Mr. Wasim Mohammed.
Present.
Mrs. Felicia Reyes Morton.
Here.
Mrs. Martha Wilson. We have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, would you please stand with me to pledge allegiance to the flag?
Good evening, everyone. We want to open up with a special statement and special acknowledgments. So we want to open up on stage with a moment of silence to recognize the passing of 4 members of the Camden City School District community, which recently occurred. Mr. David Wharton was a longtime Camden High School educator and department chair whose photography documented life at Camden High School during the 70s and the 80s. Mr. Wharton is also a family member of our own board president, Ms. Martha Wilson. The second person we want to recognize with this moment of silence is Kevin DeShields, a former district security officer. Also, our own Soraya Perez, who is one of our 5-year-old students at Forest Hill Elementary School who passed away. And finally, board member Ms. Dorothy Burley, who was a teacher, a board member, and also a community leader. Let's pause for a moment of silence. Thank you. This time I'd like to turn it over to our board president, Ms. Martha Wilson, who is going to read a special proclamation in honor of Ms. Dorothy Burley.
Whereas, after graduating from Woodrow Wilson High School, Ms. Dorothy Burley committed her life to serving children and families in the city of Camden. And whereas, Ms. Dorothy Burley, after earning degrees from Rutgers University, Camden Campus, Glassboro State College, and Camden County College, Ms. Dorothy Burley served in roles at CamCare, Camden City, and Camden County. Whereas, over the course of her tenure with the Camden City School District, Ms. Dorothy Burley was dedicated educator to students at Camden McGraw School, East Camden Middle School, Kramer Hill School, Woodrow Wilson High School, and Yorkshire School. Whereas Ms. Dorothy Burley proudly served as a passionate member of the Camden City School District's Advisory Board for 5 years, advocating to ensure that all Camden students have access to an excellent education. And whereas the passing of Ms. Burley, a great community leader, has caused a deep void of sadness in the community, and we draw comfort from knowledge that she has found safe refuge in God. Whereas the Camden City School District and members of the advisory board wish to honor Ms. Dorothy Burley for her distinguished service to the students and citizens of this great city. Now, therefore, be it resolved on this 21st day of April in the year 2018, Superintendent Paymon Rahoniford Members of the Camden City Advisory Board and the Camden City School District team celebrate the life and legacy of Ms. Dorothy Dot Burley. Respectfully submitted, Mr. Paymont Hanaford, Superintendent. At this time, if any board members would like to have 2 minutes, something to say in reference to Ms. Burley, we can start at this end. Minister Wasim.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam President, Vice President. I just wanted to say how inspired I was by Ms. Dorothy Dot Burley, being a longtime community member, her and her husband, when they were in the Whitman Park section of Camden, and he coached Little League Baseball, and Ms. Burley has always had her imprint in the Camden community, and she was an inspiration to me, as well as others, of what service in the city looks like, regardless of our health, regardless of our age, regardless of anything. It's inspiring to see so many dedicated and great men and women who serve in the elder age still have an opportunity to serve the city. To someone who's younger, it's very inspiring. And her family, Councilwoman Dana Burley and her son, Tony Burley, who I've known all my life, my condolences out to them and the family. And let's take this, that is not a negative, it is a positive, because there's a continuum of life. Keep Ms. Burley's legacy alive and get involved with our community. All of us need to do more to get involved with our community.
Thank you, Minister Wasim. Ms. Reyes.
Just thinking about her the past week has just brought me a lot of laughs. She was someone that had so much to teach and so much to offer, and she was someone that always welcomed you with open arms, especially newcomers who came around, and always loved to talk about, back in the day and from when she started her advocacy. I'm really going to miss the phone calls where it was, Felicia, what meeting are you attending? Because I'm going to attend that one because, you asked the good questions. And I'm like, I'm 531, Dot, 531. And I'm really going to miss her a lot. And, she was a true advocate for Camden children. And she really did what was at best heart and best interest for, Camden kids and families. And so she's going to be missed.
Thank you. Ms. Catherine Blackshear. Thank you. Mr. Brito.
Oh, this is the first time I talk. I barely talk, but Miss Camden has lost a great, a true resident, a great person, a friend of mine. We talk most of the time when I take her home, and she liked to help so much that even in her death, with her message that she left about miss me but let me go, have helped me go through the same process that I'm going right now with the death of my brother. And there was something else in the message that really got into me, that was that why I cried when with a soul going free. And it speaks of her character, how she was always willing to help others. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brito. Ms. Taisha Manir.
We will miss Miss Burley, and we will always remember her, especially me. She was my leader in starting my back to school block festival. She was very inspirational to me, and I will always remember her, and I will always love her, no matter where she's at.
Thank you. Ms. Atwood. I would just like to say, in reference to Ms. Burley was like a mother to me. I've known her for 54 years, and her and her husband, Mr. Burley, who ran the baseball league, that's where I met him. I was 11, and for 54 years was instrumental in our lives, one way or the other. So it's just ironic that we wound up here on the board at the same time, but She's been mom all along, and for that, she will forever be missed. Ms. McCombs.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. And although I'm not a board member, I'd like to also say that Ms. Burley had a positive impact on my life. I grew up part of my time in the Whitman Park section of the city, right at 1247 Morton Street, and also at 1216. My grandfather was out on the other end, but Ms. Burley lived right next door, and she was very close to my grandmother and helped her through her process. She had cancer, so she was a friend. So I saw a light in Miss Burley way back then, and even until today, she was a mother figure for me. So I acknowledge and appreciate her commitment to our city and to our students and to me as well. And with that being said, as we transition into this evening's agenda and presentations, we want to say that we know that one of the things that was most important to Ms. Burley was celebrating students and celebrating those that work closely with the young people. With that in mind, we're going to keep her in our hearts as we honor and also celebrate this year's district teacher and education support professionals and this year's student board representatives. So at this time, we'll transition down and we'll continue with that honoring portion and move right into the superintendent's report. All right, so good evening again. And as we said, in honor of Ms. Burley, this is also a very special evening because we are celebrating our district teachers and support staff members who have been honored and selected to be highlighted. We know that all of our teachers and all of our staff members give 110, 20, 30% each and every day that they come to work, and we highlight them in many different ways. But tonight, we have just selected several out of all of our teachers and support staff who we are going to honor and celebrate tonight. So we are honored and excited to have our 2018 district-wide winners for Teacher of the Year and Education Support Professional of the Year. We want to say congratulations and thank you for all you do. Before we invite our winners up, I would also like to thank and acknowledge several people who were very, very instrumental in helping us to honor our Teachers and Support Professional of the Year. We'd like to thank South Jersey Credit Union and Donors Choose, who have donated prizes to each of our 4 Camden City exceptional educators. South Jersey Credit Union is here tonight to personally give our outstanding educators their $100 cash prize. Yes, their $100 cash prize. We value you. And that's still just a small token, given all that you sacrifice each and every day. And we thank them for their generosity. This is the second year South Jersey Federal Credit Union has sponsored our teacher recognition efforts. So we definitely do appreciate your partnership. So from South Jersey Credit Union, we have Ms. Jacola Thomas. And when I call your name, you can feel free to come forward. Oh, thank you. Ms. Jacola, I know that you're there. Ms. Jacola Thomas, Ms. Veronica Page, Carmen Quiles, and Sarah Lipset. Welcome, and please come up to help us, as I said, celebrate. Let's celebrate them. Thank you. You're going to come up, and we'll be supported by our district staff. And we'd like to thank our board president, Ms. Martha Wilson, who will also come up to help us acknowledge and highlight and celebrate. This is a very special portion of our presentation tonight. So we will start with our elementary school teacher of the year. Could Mrs. Dobson, Principal Dobson, please come forward to say a few words? She's coming forward to say a few words about the truly outstanding Mrs. Jeanette Adams from ECDC.
As you can probably tell, her face is gleaming right now. She did not know she had District Teacher of the Year, so she is very much excited, but I just want to say a few words about Miss Adams. So today we celebrate unsung heroes who serve daily in the trenches with our most prized possession. We celebrate you in honor of all teachers who guide shoulders, mold minds, and build a type of resilience to withstand today's adversity. It is with great pleasure that I introduce you to a teacher who serves with fervor and academic rigor that is definitely both appropriate and multidimensional. She teaches across domains, she's data-driven, but more importantly, she serves our students based on their specific individual needs, whether it be social and emotional. She uses her personal time to make sure that she builds relationships with our students. Her academics, she uses her own lunchtime to do a lunchtime group with students who are falling behind, after school clubs as well. She does home visits. She does research. She researches resources for some of our families. And even for health, she's gone above and beyond to call top doctors around to tell her about issues that she's having in her class, from selective mutism all the way up to names you couldn't even pronounce. But she did that before she wrote her intervention because she wanted to ensure that she was successful. And so this is a 25-year vet of the district. She served at Cooper's Point under Miss Rubin, Camden's finest. She also served at Washington with Mr. Adler, PAL with Miss Taylor, and now ECDC, where her K team continues to top the charts district-wide in kindergarten literacy assessment. Heir to 6 generations of family members who have been a service to our community. Her father has been the chief of police. She is the daughter of 2 teachers, one who has taught at Bonsall School. And unbeknownst to me until a few days ago, she said her father spent the first 60 days in her classroom with her, just to make sure that she understood what she was being afforded. She was being afforded to change lives. And so he wanted to make sure that she did what was absolutely necessary. So at this time, I would like our fiance, Tom Pinero. He is also a teacher at Caddo School, her fiance, and both her daughter, Sarah, and son, Jason. If you guys would just stand up really briefly. We like to see those family members who definitely are giving of their time, their understanding, because we spend a lot of time. And Tom, like no other, understands what it means to be with someone who will have you there later than 9 p.m. at night, every night. He knows not to come without having his tool belt, because whatever needs fixing, he will fix that day. And he also knows that, and his kids as well, knows that when they come into that building, they will become a paraprofessional on that day. So just 2 more things, and I wanted just to highlight the curricula that the representatives that we work with through the year. Ms. Mona Doherty from our Foundation's Wilson Reading System, she wrote, "In my 15 years with Wilson, you are one of the top teachers I have seen across the country. You are exactly what our students need. Please keep up the great work." They actually reached out to her. They want to put her techniques on their website that they're sharing with teachers across the country. And Marianne Walsh from our STEP assessment says that she models and builds and encourages positive learning that provides the pathway to risk-taking that produces the reliable growth that we need to see here in Camden. She is absolutely amazing. And so without further ado, I would like to bring up Ms. Jeanette Adams, 2018 District Teacher of the Year. So if you would just take a quick second to just address the audience. So deserving.
Words truly cannot begin to express the sincere feelings of gratitude I have for Ms. Dobson, for the amazing lead educators in our building, Ms. Wade and Dr. Duncan, the amazing staff that we have at ECDC, and the amazing administration and support staff that we have in the school district that truly impact the lives of others. So I'm truly grateful for each and every one of you, because what you have done is imparted wisdom in me, techniques within my spirit, best practices, and the encouragement to keep on keeping on. And I truly appreciate that. I am just, as I said, so overwhelmed. There is a saying, to teach is to touch a life forever. I have had that honor and privilege for the past 25 years here in Camden Public School System. I have touched over 500 children's lives and their families. I wouldn't change a thing. I love Camden. I love the students here. I love the families here. I love the staff here. It is an honor and a privilege to work with all of the wonderful people who have imparted the wisdom in me. I have treasured all, and I am so honored to be incredibly supported by them every single day. I would not be here today without their encouragement and the encouragement of those who have gone by before me. I would also like to give honor to my family, my daughter Sarah, who wants to be a teacher because she sees Mom. My son Jason, who lives by the Scout Law, and he reminds me every day to do my best to do my duty. And I come here with that heart every day to give my best, because I believe in our children that much and the importance of teaching and reaching the whole child. I just want to say thank you again for the privilege, for the honor of having this, and thank you for letting me be part of the whole village that really reaches out to touch the whole child and all the children within Camden. Thank you for giving me that honor and privilege for the past 25 years. And again, thank you. And let's keep on pressing on and making a difference for all of our students.
And before we present and shower our Teacher of the Year with all these special gifts and blessings, we want to just read to you, and then our board president has a special presentation as well. The certificate reads, Teacher of the Year Award, presented to Jeanette Adams for outstanding professional achievements and contributions to the Camden City School District, signed by our Superintendent, Payman Ruhanafard, on April 24th, 2018.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, and again, thank you on behalf of what you're doing for our students in the Camden City Board of Education.
Thank you so much.
Bless
Oh my. Thank you so very much. Thank you. If I may, I would just like to once again thank everyone, and I would like to just thank once again my wonderful fiance Tom Pinero, who spends so much time with me and endures so much as I work at night, and his beautiful mom, who's with us today, Rita Sweeney, who makes me chicken soup before I get observed. And my friend Cindy and her daughter Samantha and all those that came out to support me. Thank you, ECDC. And today I dedicate this in memory of my father, who is not with us here today. But without his love and support, I would not be who I am. So I dedicate this in memory of my dad, Dr. Edward R. McDale, Jr., former teacher at Bonsall Elementary School.
Okay, and now let's honor our Education Support Professional of the Year. Could Mrs. Lisa Hackett, a paraprofessional from Cream School, please come forward with Mr. Simon?
Good evening, everyone. I stand before you proud to have this individual part of the Valletta Twine Cream Family School team. She is an outstanding individual who shows more than just support, but admiration to her job and dedication throughout the city. She is admired by the community, not only by her colleagues, but adored by her kindergarten students. I'm going to introduce Ms. Haley, my FOC, to read letters from her students to just show a small appreciation and the importance that she provides throughout the school. Ms. Haley.
Good evening. So Jaylani says, I love Miss Hackett because she's the best teacher and she teaches me to learn. Victor says, I love Miss Hackett because she's the best teacher. She lets us play in centers, and she teaches me math. I want you guys to all know that her class thinks that she's always the best dressed. Lisa's husband, Captain Tyrone, is in the back. I'd like for him to stand. Thank you for coming out and supporting your wife.
I would just like to say thank you to my principal, Mr. Simon, Ms. Haley, and Cream Family School. I'm at a loss for words because this is all I know. I've been doing this for 25 years, and I love my kids. The children of the city of Camden are so important and special to me. And I mean, I'm honored. Thank you so much.
And we say thank you so much, Ms. Hackett. And the certificate reads, Educational Support Professionals Award presented to Lisa Hackett for outstanding professional achievements and contributions to the Camden City School District, signed by our Superintendent, Payman Ruhanafard, on this 24th day of April, 2018. And you stay as well for you. Thank you very much. Camden High School's Mrs. Walker Hunter. Please come up with Principal Jones and receive your honor for being named our high school Teacher of the Year.
So I've had the privilege of working with this young lady for the past 7 years at Camden High School, and today I have the honor of introducing her to all of you as our district's Teacher of the Year. Ms. Nancy Walker Hunter is someone inside of our building who embodies the spirit of building positive relationships with our students. At Camden High School, we don't make our students do anything, we simply ask them. And in asking them to do things for you, the best way to get them to comply is by having a positive relationship with them, by letting them know that you love them and you are here to support them. And Miss Nancy Walker Hunter has modeled that for all of our staff members. She is a beloved member of our school community. And not only is she a member of our school community, but she is an original member of the Parkside community. That's right. A graduate of Camden High School who also who also went to school at the Hatch Building where we now reside, and has the privilege of being a teacher inside of the classroom where she was once a student. And not only that, she is a health teacher inside of the classroom where she once learned health. So she is a true Camden legend. And ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Ms. Walker Hunter.
Thank you so much. Those of you who know me even a little bit know that I don't really like the spotlight. I like to be behind the scenes. But I do want to share where some of my inspiration came from. I was inspired every day by the students that I teach. And if it wasn't for the students, of course, you as a teacher, you know, you have your students, but they made my job easy. They made me want to come to work every day. I have been privileged to work under at least 17 or 18 principals in my 38 years teaching. And the first time I actually shivered in my boots about who the principal was going to be, it was when the general came down the hallway and they said, Mr. Jones is the principal. And every time he came down the hallway, there was this funny little tear that used to drip out of my eye. And I thought, will I ever reach the mark? Because his bar is high. And despite my many years teaching and having great relationships with my colleagues, one of them, my colleague and friend Karen Borelli, who is the curriculum police for health education, who kept me on track when I might have swayed off the road. And as I sit here, I taught Martha Wilson's daughter, Monique Ragsdale's daughter, Ramir, I was his teacher. I mean, I'm teaching the children and the grandchildren of people I originally taught. And it has been a happy journey, despite what people out there say. It has been a happy journey for me. But I did want to share tonight something that Mr. Jones mentioned. When we made the difficult but dutiful switch from Camden High School building, where I spent 3 years there and graduated. And we ended up at Hatch, and I was supposed to be in a different room, and at the last minute, I was put in room 112. And when I got in the room, there was a feeling in the room that I couldn't really explain. And I realized that that was the room that not only had I had health class in, but it was the room where I had had music in, with a very distinguished music teacher, Dr. James E. Mumford, who was there in my 7th, 8th, and 9th grade year. And then he was transferred to Camden High for my 10th, 11th, and 12th grade year. He was the inspiration for how you teach the content that you have. So even though he was a music teacher, it was his relationship with us that became important. He catapulted hundreds and hundreds of students into positive careers and directions over the years. And when I mentioned that on Facebook, because I'm a Facebook fan, and I put a picture of him and myself last year when he visited, and someone found a picture of me on the piano bench with him when I was 15 years old in the room where I am teaching now. Wow. So I feel like his spirit was there. Camden High is a happy place for many of us every day. The students are absolutely full of more love than you can ever imagine could come from students. I am here tonight with one of my twins, Timothy Hunter. I have another one at home, David. And my daughter, Kelly Jenkins, who I met in the 10th grade in my homeroom, sitting on the side, and she came home with me one day to bake a lemon cake, and 25 years later, we're still together, and she is now a reading intervention specialist over at York Ship School, just finishing her second master's degree, and she allowed me to be my first trial run as a mom. So by the time I had my own kids, it was a little bit easy. But I'm honored by this, I'm humbled by this. I take the honor extremely seriously, and I am always looking for new ways to reach our students and give them what they need. Thank you.
And so our certificate reads, Teacher of the Year Award presented to Nancy Walker Hunter for outstanding professional achievements and contributions to the Camden City School District, signed by our superintendent, Payman Hannaford, on this 24th day of April 2018. Thank you for your service. And finally, last but not least, we are proud to honor Forest Hill Security Officer, Mr. Ramar High. Mr. High has been named District Education Support Professional of the Year. Officer High and Mr. Corby will now take us further. First, an introduction from his principal.
Good evening, everyone. So if I know Officer High, he's probably pretty embarrassed right now. I tried to trick him into saying that we needed some more support here without really telling him what was going on, but the cat kind of got out of the bag. So as you see, he's in his nice uniform, dressed to impress. But if there's anybody who really does, as it's been said with the last three professionals here, if there's anybody that really does embody the values of Forest Hill, the values of Camden City School District, it's Officer Ramar High. He is absolutely the calming force in the building, whether that's dealing with any of his colleagues as the staff, whether it's dealing with the students, whether it's dealing with families. He's always kind of like in the right place at the right time to address the situation, and also to like just to de-escalate in a very like incredibly professional, respectful, humble way, supportive of the students, supportive of the family members, and like I said, embodying just the values and everything that we're really trying to accomplish at Forest Hill. He's been with me for the last couple of years, and just being able to really work with him as one of the only males in the building has been a true support for me, but also to our students. And I wanted to read a letter from one of our students, one of our fifth graders that's been in the building last several years. And really, like I said, like this is representative of exactly the relationship that Officer High has with all of our students. So it says, "Dear Officer High, Uncle High, I really thank you for what you have done for me these past years. You have been so helpful to me. You have stopped me from making the wrong decisions. You have taught me how to calm down when I am angry and how to stay away from situations that might get me in trouble. I can walk away sometimes from a problem or a person because of you. You really mean a lot to this school because everybody talks about you and how you help them just being you. I love you, and you will always be an uncle to me, and that's what makes you so awesome. I know, and everyone else at Forest Hill knows, that you are very helpful. You just make me feel like you are one of my family members because you care and look out for me and so many other students. From Nasir Hawks to you, Uncle High, love you.
Sorry about that, y'all. I would first like to thank the Camden Board of Education. I'd like to thank my Forest Hill family, Principal Corvey, and the Camden City. I want to start off by saying I want to send prayers to the DeShields family. One of our family members passed, Mr. DeShields, and I also want to send prayers to the Perez family, my little girl Soraya. I see Miss Hunter here. I see Miss Atwood here. I see Miss Carmen here. One thing I like to say is I take it serious about my kids. And I mean my kids. Sorry. People don't understand the obstacles these kids go through. Me and my partners, Officer Hawkins over there, we done bought coats, clothes, food, and people don't understand there's a lot of obstacles our kids go through. I just want to say our Camden kids need us, and like I said, the people we have here keep doing the great work we do, the great service we do for these kids. I also would like to say a lot of the stuff that I deal with is from, Mr. Wasim will understand this, Miss Tony Betts. Miss Betts was an awesome teacher. She taught me how to take care of kids that's less fortunate. The things we do, like if they didn't have no prom clothes, we wouldn't tell nobody we would buy them prom clothes. I brought that to Forest Hill. I brought it to all the places I work in. It hurts me because he know how I am about Nasir. He's one of our kids. We just, man, I don't even want to go into that, but I'd like to say thank everybody, and I appreciate it.
So this Education Support Professionals Award is presented to Mr. Ramar Hyde for outstanding professional achievements and contribution to the Camden City School District, signed by our Superintendent Payman Ruhanafard on this 24th day of April 2018. So again, we honor and celebrate our teachers and dedicated support professionals. And I know we're transitioning out. But we also want to take this opportunity to honor our student board reps, because they are so very valuable and important to us. They present courage every month when they come on the stage and stand before all of us and share what their concerns are, and also the accomplishments and the improvements that they have seen. So this year, our dedicated student board reps, I'll let them exit, they're almost there. because our students are important and we want to make sure that we recognize them. This year, our dedicated student board reps have invested their time, intelligence, and energy to represent their classmates and school communities at our monthly board meetings. This is the last time our student board reps will be with us this year, and we want to take a moment to thank them for their service and for their voices. Board reps, please come down to accept your certificates and appreciation gifts. Okay, and we're going to move right into our superintendent's report, which is abbreviated because we wanted to allow that time and that space to not rush in honoring our students and teachers and support staff members who are so very valuable to us as they have demonstrated. So we are here at Davis School this evening, and I'm not sure if you had the opportunity to visit the wonderful art extravaganza, but this year the theme is the Egyptian extravaganza. And we are so thankful to Davis for hosting us this evening during their annual student art show. We give a huge shout out to Ms. Heckler, the Davis art teacher. Every year she leads her students and the entire Davis school community as they create beautiful, and I mean beautiful, works of art around a single theme. Again, this year's theme is Egyptian extravaganza, and you see some of the highlights of the beautiful artwork that is there, but it doesn't do it justice. You must go and see it for yourself to see the beautiful creativity that has been inspired by our teaching staff so that our students share. So please feel free to visit the art show in the gym this evening before it closes down at 8 o'clock p.m. Thank you again, Davis School family, for your wonderful accomplishment. In-school SAT. We've gotten a lot of buzz about the in-school SAT, and for good reason. On Tuesday, April 10th, every high school junior in the district took the SAT college entrance exam for free in school. Every junior took the SAT college entrance exam for free in school. Since piloting College Board's SAT School Day program last year, CCSD high schools have seen a 46% increase in SAT participation. That is incredible. The in-school SAT is amongst a number of new measures put in place by our high school team to remove all barriers district students might face to applying for and attending college. Fox 29 joined us at Woodrow Wilson High School to wish students good luck. They actually were at Camden High School to wish students good luck, and it was a wonderful day. But all of our students, our 11th graders across the district, participated. And again, thank you to our high school team and their emphasis on college career readiness. So on to next year's calendar, the 2018-19 district calendar, which will become available after it is approved officially on our district website. And you can take a look there. You'll see that the information is so crystal clear. First day of school for professional development for staff will be Tuesday, September 4th. For all staff, and our students will report Thursday, September 6th. And tentatively, the last day of school is Thursday, June 19th. We were able to maintain increased instructional continuity through the fall and revisited how the district could make up any instructional days lost to snow or other emergency closures. This allowed us to limit the amount of time staff and students would be in warm buildings during late June in 2019. So we made a special effort to lessen the amount of time our students would be in buildings in the heated months. We also provided a 2017-2018 district calendar. All after-school PDs for teachers and school leader PDs are called out. So in our upcoming calendar, the same thing, the same areas are highlighted and called out clearly. Leadership of all unions were able to weigh in on the calendar and provide thoughtful feedback on the front end, and we thank them for their collaboration and cooperation and support. We coordinated with Renaissance partners when possible, given that families have students in multiple school types. So we want to make sure that we are very sensitive to our families in our mixed delivery system. To those parents who have students in different schools, it does make it easier. And one note also, Three Kings Day, because this is a very important holiday in our community, is not listed as a district holiday in 2019, only because it takes place on a Saturday. So we won't have that day off, but we will still have our celebration of Three Kings Day during the month of January. Again, the calendar will be listed, so you'll be able to take a look at it when it goes live on the website. So moving right on to summer school and thinking about our calendars, here you see a listing of some of the highlights for our K-8 summer enrichment program and also our credit recovery program. As you can see, our rising 1st through 8th graders will be able to participate in our K through 8 summer enrichment program. And just to quickly highlight, Monday, July 9th is the beginning of our K-8 summer program, and it will run through August 3rd. Again, we have extended the day, so it is an 8:30 to 3 o'clock p.m. day, which was convenient for families based on feedback, and it will be hosted at Caddo and H.B. Wilson. Transportation, breakfast, and lunch will be provided. So again, we want to share that information. And with regard to our credit recovery, for rising 10th through 12th graders who have failed a core content area, we have this opportunity for them to be able to recover those credits that were lost, and that time frame is the same, Monday, July 9th to Friday, August 3rd. And it will be held at Woodrow Wilson High School. Transportation will also be provided at Camden High School, and breakfast will be provided as well. We're excited about our highlights for our summer K-8 and high school programs. We know that many of you may have questions about our summer swag, which is our student summer employment program, and we will be sharing more information at our May board meeting. We are finalizing the details, and we'll make sure that information is out in the community so that our student workers will have the opportunity to participate and sign up for that endeavor. These are just some pictures highlighting our K through 8 summer school program, our summer enrichment program, and we're looking forward to being able to present a program that focuses on academies and allows our students just to extend their learning throughout the rest of the summer. So credit recovery, as we mentioned before, will be offered, and students in grades 6 through 12 here will be able to participate. And again, just as we did last year, if there are students in these grade levels who want to have the opportunity to enrich their learning or to explore an area that they may not have been able to, like a foreign language or like a specific science area that they may have a burning interest and desire in, they will also be able to earn credits and to learn through the online platform that we have. All of the details are currently being determined based on student needs for credit recovery as well. Again, Woodrow Wilson is our main campus with a shuttle bus from Parkside to Woodrow Wilson High School. If the need is great, multiple locations or a satellite campus at Camden High School is also a possibility. So we're monitoring enrollment, and we want to make sure that we meet the needs of our students and families. Brim Medical Arts will be offering their own credit recovery program for their students. And just one last point about the high school summer programming. All high schools will be offering a summer bridge program this year for incoming freshmen. And that will be able to help our students as they transition. So we know that historically we've had some of our schools to offer the Summer Bridge program. This year it will be at all of our high schools to make that transition successful and to start our 9th grade students off with confidence in their new environments. The details of those programs are still being finalized and will be shared at the next board meeting. So Donors Choose. We highlighted that Donors Choose was one of our sponsors in helping us celebrate our educational professional and teachers of the year. Over the past few weeks, Camden has gotten 2 different rounds of Donors Choose Good News. So the first round of Good News is called the Best Day Ever. On March 29th, over 90 CCSD-DonorsChoose.org classroom projects were instantly funded thanks to a $29 million corporate donation to the education fundraising website. That is pretty amazing. That is pretty amazing. 32 of these projects were for Woodrow Wilson High School, whose teachers actively use Donors Choose to enhance learning and opportunities for their students. The second round of good news with regard to Donors Choose is called the Teacher Activator Campaign. Starting April 16th, projects in Camden, New Jersey can be funded thanks to matched donations from Townsend Press. When 5 teachers in the same school post projects, the first 5 projects that are posted for $1,000 or less at that school will be considered for full funding. So the opportunity is out there. And we are so excited that our educators are excited. They're jumping right in. We know that educators, teachers, always go into their pockets and always spend their own money. So it's wonderful to have the support of this organization. And the word is out. So if you know any schools, any teachers, ask them if they have put their hat in the ring to be able to get some of this funding for our students. We're excited to see what will take place in our classrooms as a result. With regard to Camden High School, we were thrilled last week to have another meeting of our Camden High School community committees. As you know, we have 3 committees, one focused on the history and culture of the school, another on extracurriculars and athletics, and a third that helps provide feedback on the overall project. To date, their feedback has been incredibly valuable in shaping the direction of the new school, from helping develop a new historical gallery and lobby in the main entrance, to pushing to preserve key elements of the history of the building in the new design. We are grateful for all of their leadership, and we truly mean that, their feedback, their support, and making sure that what emerges from this process is truly world-class, and a true world-class Camden High for our students, families, and communities. So that cooperation and collaboration is so critical. And so if you look at this rendering, the SDA also joined us last week over at Brim in the evening for the committee meeting. And this is just one rendering. And every time I see it, I get goosebumps because it just looks so beautiful. And we're able to see how all of the collaboration and the student input and their voices and the community members have shaped this vision. So this is a vision that we look forward to seeing realized. We also want to take a quick moment to share a couple of the latest renderings. So again, this is also available on our website. So if you want to see these, you can just go right to the district website. The new design continues to take community feedback into account, from a rebuilt tower, and it's right there, you can see it, I don't have my, there it is. Thank you, Ashley. From a rebuilt tower to the reincorporation of the marble steps and historic arch at the front of the building, and so much more. So for anyone who's interested in learning more, I'd encourage you to check out our website or check out or reach out to any member of our team or the committees, and we're happy to share more. We want to continue hearing your feedback and incorporating it. We are busy in our district, as you can see. So park updates. Park testing is underway. And as many of you know, it is underway, and we've kicked it off very successfully. We wanted to give a huge shout out to all of our schools whose staffs are hard at work supporting students during this time. In particular, I want to call out Coopers Point, Coopers Point students are pictured here, whose team put together an exciting pep rally for students. And you can see in the middle, there's a pledge, so they found a way to get all of their students bought into doing their best on the park. Additionally, I want to take a quick moment to commend the staff at Cream School. I don't know if Principal Simons is still here, and I think they left, but we want to also give a shout out to them, given the challenges of the transition, given the building issues they faced earlier this year. We know the pressure of park this year could certainly be felt, even more so than usual for Cream staff and students. So we will absolutely make sure to take these challenges into account when working to support the Cream staff going forward. And at the same time, we want to commend them once again for going above and beyond this year to ensure they are giving students the academic supports they need to thrive. So thank you again to the Coopers Point and Cream families for leading the way, but to all of our schools for their dedication to park. And last but not least, a shout out. We want to give a huge shout out to Davis School again, and we are hosted by them. But congratulations to Davis Family Schools #Future Engineers, Ashanti Castro, Ciani Enriquez, Nara Kien, Danira Houghton, Ilian Martinez, and Shayla Vasquez for winning first place. First place. First place at the Camden County Vocational and Technical Schools Cupcake Launch Engineering Challenge. They did a wonderful job. And moving right along, I thought it was the last slide, but it wasn't, sorry. But this is worth commending as well. Our students going to college, seeing our students able to go and set their feet on college campuses. 7 of our high school students spent their spring break at not just any college or university, but Stanford University's Black Student Union Youth Empowerment Conference. Now that they are back in Camden, at least 3 of the students are working on their applications to attend Stanford University with the full support of the Black Student Union behind them. We want to, yes, that is awesome. So we want to thank you, Mrs. Flack. Ms. Flack, Shelley, are you here? No, okay. She knows we thank her. We want to thank you, Mrs. Flack, Mr. Phillips, and Stanford University for giving our students this incredible exposure and letting them know that there's nothing that's too hard for them to attain if they put their minds to it. And our district highlights the Philadelphia 76ers Math Hoops Tournament. 10 of our CCSD students from Caddo, Dudley, and Coopers Point took part in the Philadelphia 76ers Math Hoops Tournament. Math Hoops is an MBA Cares program that teaches kids math skills through a fast-paced basketball board game using the real stats of professional players. The program is designed for students in grades 4 through 8 and is played for 12 weeks during the basketball season. Great job to everyone. And that does round out our district highlights. Thank you for your attention. We'd like to welcome our board members back on stage, as well as our student representatives. And our Vice President, Ms. Felicia Reyes-Morton, will acknowledge our retirements on stage.
So I'm going to go ahead and read the retirements. So best wishes in your retirement. Enjoy the fruits of your hard labor. Here's wishing you a relaxing and wonderful retirement. Carice Atwell, 27 years. Nirmala Balodia, 26 years. John Bryan, 19 years. Leanne Capuccio, 29 years. Gregory Christopher, 19 years. George Cross, 17 years. Catherine Downs, 18 years. Brenda King, 27 years. Patricia Knott, 27 years. Nancy McLeod, 22 years. Blanca Molina, 25 years. Damaris Money Allen, 6 years. Maribel Roman, 33 years. Wanda Thompson, 23 years. And last but certainly not least, Joe Williams, 23 years. Thank you so much for all of those years of service.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Reyes Morton, and I'll turn it over at this time to our business administrator for our student reps attendance.
At this time, I'm going to take the role of our student representatives. When I call your name, please say present. Ibn Coleman. Present. Maya Cone. Xavier Diaz. Camille Holloman. Kahira Coleman.
Present.
Yasmin Trueblood. Siani Davis. Wesley Taveras. Leanne Richardson. Present. Courtney Davis. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and at this time, we'll turn it over to our student board reps for questions and comments.
Hello, board. Hello, everybody at the board meeting. I'm Ibn Coleman, a graduating senior and also the lead student board rep for Dr. Charles E. Brim Medical Arts. Excuse me for reading off my phone because I wasn't aware that the board meeting was tonight. I would like to mention some positives about Brim Medical Arts. On April 10th, 2018, we had 100% participation in SATs from the class of 2019. And we would like you all to support our school if you can. For first mention, I would like for you all to vote for Dr. Charles E. Brim Medical Arts on Donors Choose. Please text DCBMAHS to 505555. Again, DCBMAHS to 50555. And that's, if you're wondering what that's for a grant for $5,000 to invest inside my school. And the next event is on behalf of Chowhound. I mention this every meeting. It's a health and wellness program for the community's cats and dogs. And they're having their health and wellness, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Their Brim Chowhound House is an event where they give out free foods and pets needs. And it's on April 28th. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Kyra Coleman and I'm representing Camden Big Picture Learning Academy. Please excuse my attire, I came straight here from track practice. Something that is going well at our school is we just received a loudspeaker. This will help with the improvement of our safety so that when there's an emergency, we will now be able to be notified. And something that could use improvement is our school's heating and air conditioning system. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Leanne Richardson, and I'm representing Woodrow Wilson High School. Some of the positives we had at our school so far, the SAT testing transition has been pretty smooth, so we've been getting to our testing and interruptions while doing that for the juniors. For the first time in 10 years, our school is having a production of The Lion King, any play in general, so that's a big step we're going for. Sorry, I had to, not prepared. We have, our administration has been consistent in helping students and instructing them on what to do throughout the school day. And they're relatable since, considering they're a bit younger, so they're friendly with our students. And that's all I have to say.
to thank our student board reps for their questions, comments, and also for sharing their voices as to how we can improve things for them at their schools.
I'd also like to recognize our own Ms. Teresa Atwood. She will be receiving her certification for boardsmanship. I'm so happy to say, and it's going to happen at the next Camden and Gloucester County meeting. Thank you. Congratulations, Ms. Atwood.
That's a wonderful accomplishment. Thank you so much. At this time, if there are any questions and comments from the advisory board members, we will take them before turning it over to our business administrator. Any questions or comments from our advisory board members?
Minister Wasim?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. I want to congratulate Ms. Atwood for that wonderful accomplishment. And I just want to say to the community that it is things like this what Ms. Atwood is doing, that many others doing, our vice chair president as well, and our president, of getting certified so that when we meet the challenge of things that's coming to Camden City, it'll be a smooth transition. And we just want you all to continue doing what you do. And as we do what we have to do, maybe not in your style that you would like for us to do it, but we have Camden City and our children in the best interest. So I just wanted to note that. And you know, I always say, when we come here, here is not the opportunity to take jabs at each other. Some things are necessary, but some things are unnecessary because we all have to work together and show our children what uniting in our community look like and how we can work together and everybody play their part. I also want to send my condolences to the family of Mr. Dave Deke Warden. You know, as I was a youngster, walking from Parkside to Park Boulevard, to Muhammad's Temple, number 20, then on Broadway, walking down Chestnut Street, seeing Mr. Dave Warden at the Omega Psi House there. Those who grew up in Camden know exactly, and that's every weekend I would walk from Parkside to, as we call it then, downtown. They give these things new names now. I only know the name now. Whatever the new, it had great conversation with him and some wonderful people there as I was a youngster walking down. And I want to say that the Camden High moving forward with the committees is, it's just exciting, especially growing up in Parkside and living still in Parkside. I think is wonderful. And just to say to the community, as we try to continue to improve, I think one thing we forgot, and we talked about this at the committee meeting, we forgot to mention about the ledge of Camden High School, you know, the magnificent impact that the Camden High School ledge had on all of us, you know, on weekends and evenings. So maybe we can begin to have that conversation for those who know and understand so that we can keep that memorabilia in our head as well, too. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Wasim. Ms. Reyes-Morton.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. I just wanted to thank Townsend Press for their commitment to the Camden City School District and Camden families. I know there's a lot of people that care about Camden and provide resources to the city, and those are definitely some guardian angels that the city has. So I wanted to thank them for, collaborating with the district, the administration, and being able to bring up innovative ways that we can, support teachers and students and families, in the classroom. I also wanted to give some kudos to the administration for the collaboration and merging of the calendars. Like, as a parent last year who had kids, in Renaissance and other schools, it's really challenging, and for families, it still exists where, people choosing to put their, send their kids to different schools, and so the merging of calendars is very beneficial and is really gonna go a long way. So I wanted to thank you guys for that. And also was really excited about the Philadelphia 76ers partnership with the school district, and it just shows the way that the Renaissance of Camden has been coming together and how the future of the city and the district will look with the partnerships and collaborations taking place today that are ultimately going to better benefit, all the families and children in the city. So just wanted to highlight those cool things.
Ms. Blackshear.
just want to say thank you. I just noticed that Mr. White was sitting in the audience, and even though I didn't stop, but I rode through Farnham Park, and it was a good event Saturday. I know that Minister Khan was part of it, and Aramark, but when you get up, can you speak a little bit about the event that you had April the 21st? Is it the 21st, Saturday? Well, who can come up and speak about it. I know that you brought it to my office so that we sent it out through public housing. Can they do a little?
Have you signed up to speak?
I didn't want to use his minute to speak about that. Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
We'll take the opportunity to bring you up before it's time for the roll call, so you can express what Ms. Blackshear is asking you to. Ms. Atwood? Mr. Brito? I would just like to say to Mr. Brito, thank you for being here, because I know that you're still going through your bereavement from the loss of your brother. And so, and you were there for Ms. Burley as well. So I just want to say thank you, because I know it's been a lot that the school district and board members have had to deal with. We had like 6 deaths within a week's time. So it really takes a toll on you. And I guess I should report out, I don't normally tell this, but I was reappointed to the National School Board's CUBE, Council of Urban Boards, appointed for another 3 years. And this year I also served for the National School Boards as a delegate, which deals with the resolutions that then become law. So just to let you know, we are working in ways that you cannot see, but we are involved. Camden is represented. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to turn this portion of the meeting over to our school business administrator to lead us further in the public comment portion.
The Camden City School District welcomes the attendance and comments of all members of the public at its meeting. This public comment period is your time to be heard on the agenda items in this meeting. Each person who signed up to comment will have 3 minutes. You will be notified when your 3 minutes are up. You cannot yield your time to another person. When it is your turn to speak, please remain at the podium and address all of your comments to the board president or the acting superintendent. Please conduct yourself in a respectful and courteous manner. For anyone whose comments or actions either harass, intimidate, or threaten the safety of any person, we will provide you with a warning or immediately end your comment time. Also, if you curse, use vulgar language, or make personal attacks, we will provide you with a warning or end your comment time. We will not interrupt you during your 3 minutes of comments. Members of the audience should also not interrupt the speaker at the podium. If you have any questions, please ask your questions during your 3-minute comment period. After the comment period is closed, the acting superintendent or her designee will address your questions to the extent provided by law. Would Ms. Ronsha Dickerson come up?
Ms. Dickerson, this time is for you to inform us what Ms. Blackshear was talking about.
All right, yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Good evening, everyone. How are you? I don't have my 3 minutes. Oh, good. So I want to bring up Joelle Henderson from Aramark. Any of the Aramark team that was there, we do an annual feeding every November before Thanksgiving Eve, and Deputy Superintendent Ms. McCombs came last year, and then Superintendent Hanford came the year before. We've been feeding in Camden for some time. Our goal as community partners is we've always wanted to do something that was big for our city to be able to nourish our residents, right? And we know during the holiday time, the season, everyone suffers some, especially in Camden, there's a spirit of just suffering. So it came from the understanding that we wanted to do something good every year, and it was from Aramark, honestly. Aramark, Duran Gardner who was general manager at the time, he came to me, to the community, and said, Ronsha, what can we do? And then I called, of course, Mr. Stan White, and Mr. Stan White, and we built a team of people who are just community-driven people, just to be a part of this coalition or core membership of the, we call ourselves the Camden Harvest Fest Partners. Well, that's been going on for 4 years. We've been at Bonsall first, help me out, Joel. Bonsall, Sharp School, and then Cream, and then we did Creative Arts last year. This season just passed. So the idea came to our core committee of saying we need to do something in the springtime. Aramark said there's a season for us to kind of give away produce and live food, fresh vegetables and fruit to the community. So this Saturday, as Ms. Dobson pointed out, we were able to give an opportunity for residents to come again to Farnham Park, right in Parkside, the community. It was advertised to the whole entire city to come and receive a free bag of fresh produce, and Aramark was on the grill making barbecue, hot dogs, and hamburgers. It was such a beautiful day. We had moon bounces. We partnered with so many people. Mr. Stan White was a extremely big part of creating a community connection. But I want to also shout out to the mayor of the city, the mayor in the city of Camden. They had a cleanup day there, and they married our event and made it where we were able to partner with them and get chairs and tables and things like that. So, Ms. Dobson, thank you for recognizing that. It was a big event. People were, Ms. Blackshear, I'm sorry. Ms. Blackshear, I said it twice. Ms. Blackshear, thank you for recognizing that. It was a great opportunity for us to show the community that we together stand as one, and we can get things done, and it doesn't have to be in a connection of who's in leadership, just partners, allying, being a coalition, getting and making it happen. So we just want to continue to do this fight and recognize Aramark for taking out time in their schedule to bring their workers out, create a day of employment. They had a job fair at the same day. It was an opportunity for the city to see us work together as one, as a community. My 3 minutes up? Not yet? No, that's it. I'm just kidding. So thank you all, and thank you all for attending. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Jim Carter.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me a few minutes here to speak of a situation. My name is Jim Carter. I'm the president of the International Association of Approved Basketball Officials. I'm the current president and a 42-year member. I'm also a 28-year active official with the NCAA college basketball. We're having ongoing problems. This is the second consecutive year of our officials being paid in a timely manner. As of the 9 o'clock this morning, we have 20 officials, 24 games where they have not been compensated for their services. We have been in contact with Mr. Mark Phillips, the AD from Camden, and Mr. Hickson from Woodrow Wilson. Email to me from Mr. Phillips on March 5th, 1:45, our 227 board meeting. Many officials were scheduled to be approved for payment, so some of your officials, if not all, should be compensated shortly. Obviously, by this list that I will be giving you, they are not compensated. This seems to be the standard theme on emails from the ADs back to our officials is it's the business office's responsibility, who sends it to the Board of Education for their approval. We have officials, myself included. I refereed Woodrow Wilson December 21st. I received my check April 7th, excess of 90 days. Okay? I would assume that if everyone up there did not get a check weekly or bi-weekly, you could be a little bit upset. I have a lot of officials upset. I caution the board, the officiating community, not only in basketball, but football, all sports involved, is a tight-knit community. I caution you, please address this situation. Every organization, the members have a right not to officiate at any school. We have already seen an increase of officials who do not want to officiate at Camden and Woodrow Wilson because of this situation. So my question to you, Board of Education, is one, can we expect our officials to be paid on this list that I gave you in a timely manner? Two, can we expect the same time limits or payments next year going forward? Thirdly, Mr. Phillips said he will be going to ref pay. I don't know if all of you are aware of what ref pay is. It's an online system. But that system would have to be funded to make his job easy as well. They're my questions. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob Clark, Mr. Bob Clark.
Good afternoon, my name is Bob Clark. I represent the New Jersey baseball umpires. We're in the same situation.
Sorry, can you just wait 1 second? Sorry about this.
Because we can't hear you either. Which, is he in the back? Did he go out?
Mr. Carter, we will follow up with you and allow the board president to make a comment. You want to make a comment?
No, I just wanted you to address him because he's not aware of the procedure. Basically, he asked the question. Normally, we answer at the end, and you don't know that. So if you wanted to speak to them.
Okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Clark. Mr. Carter, our policy at the district is that we need to have all payments approved by the board in advance. So generally speaking, when game officials referee any of our games, it takes about 30, at the most 90 days to get the payments in. It takes about maybe roughly 30 or plus days to get the documentation in from the athletic directors. Then once we have the documentation, we schedule the payments. We have to get them approved by the board. That's why you don't get your payments within a couple of weeks. I do agree with you that if you refereed a game in December and you just got paid in April, there's something wrong. We are aware of all these problems. We are working with our athletic directors to improve it. We're not happy about it. And you mentioned ref pay. We will have a conversation. Was it Mr. Phillips? We'll have a conversation about him to find out about that system to see if it can help us speed up our process. But all payments have to be approved by the board before we can issue a check.
Okay, so my question to take back to my membership, the outstanding payment.
Yes.
Would be.
We will follow up with you.
Okay.
And we will get back to you and let you know when payment will be made.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate you bringing that to our attention.
I appreciate your responses too. You got back to me a couple times.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. I have a question.
Ms. Reyes Morton.
I have a question.
Sure.
Not for you, sir, but you can stay if you want.
He has a question for me. Am I supposed to?
No, but
We'll let you address the question during your comment.
I have a question for the BA. Thank you. Thank you. Understanding leagues and sports, because I have one, and payments and bureaucracy, because, I'm sitting on one as well. Is there a way that if we know that games are going to be played for the year, that we can maybe drop down from an account to another one so that the funds are already there, since we know these are costs that we're already going to be incurring, and we can have, guesstimated before the year end, maybe we're spending $3,000 a year for referees, rather than, processing it the way that we are?
Well, the issue is that the payment has to be approved by the board. We have the funds. We just have to get the documentation, and once we receive that, we submit it to the board for approval. We can't write out a check without it being approved by the board.
Ms. Blackshear.
Specifics, I'm talking about a line item, if we're going to spend $100,000 for 1920, can we, in the beginning of the year, approve that line item for that account so that?
It is approved in our budget. We do that. The issue is getting the information to the business office and then submitting it to the board for approval. So our board meetings are monthly, so sometimes you may have to wait over 30 days to get on the board agenda.
Ms. Blackshear.
We'll definitely follow up.
Ms. Blackshear.
If we know the schedule that each game is being played, and we approve of that scheduling ahead of time from the board, like they know they got 20 games. We approve at the beginning of the year, 20 games. Once they submit their invoice, then it shouldn't have to come back to us if we already in the beginning of the year already approved of this schedule.
Our board policy is that we approve each individual payment at the board meeting. The issue is that we do have a budget for these games. The issue is, and I'm not trying to point the finger at anybody, is that we have to get the documentation, it has to be reviewed, and once it's submitted to the business office, it goes on the agenda for the next board meeting. And then it's approved, checks go out the next day, and generally within 5 to 7 days, the individual will have their check. But we are working with our athletic directors to follow up on that process. We've heard quite a few complaints, and we are concerned, and we have been in touch with them.
Yes, but I think the question is saying, can the policy be changed so that we can do it in advance, since we know it in advance? Because I'm looking for the answer as well, too.
We can look into it. We have to discuss it with our legal counsel, but we will definitely look into it.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Clark, you can go forward. Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
No problem. Yeah, well, I'm in support of what Jim's here for. I'm the assigner for the baseball group, high school. Now, Woodrow Wilson doesn't play any home games, okay, so we're not, no issue with them. But Camden High, last year, some of my umpires did a game in April, they're getting paid October. Same situation. We send in assigners fees. Well, I get paid from every school that I do. I do over 50 schools to assign officials. I sent it to every school in November. I still haven't been paid, okay, since November. Now, there is a thing called arbiter pay, ref pay, like he says. Lenape, Shawnee, Cherokee, and Seneca, they all use arbiter pay. Cherry Hill School System used arbiter pay this year for the first time. Like you're talking about putting money into the budget, if you do a game at Cherry Hill through arbiter pay, Cherry Hill notoriously was 8 weeks to get paid. They needed 10 signatures before it got to the school board to approve it. Now, Cherry Hill, if you have direct deposit, your check is in your account in 2 days. 2 days, okay? If you don't let them direct deposit it, they charge you $1 or $2, I'm not sure what it is, but it's $1 or $2 to mail it to your house. You get it within 7 days. I think, my opinion, within 5 years, every high school in this area will be going arbiter pay. Cherry Hill athletic director told me he saved 11,000 invoices just in fall sports that he didn't have to put out. They fill out the invoice at the game, 2 days, the money's in their checking account. It seems like it's the way to go. By the way, I went to this school from kindergarten until I had 9th grade. Graduated in
Welcome back.
1966. It hasn't changed much. Seats are different. Okay? But it's 50 years since I've been in this building. And I love this school. But other than that, I'm just here to support Jim. The football guys, I know a lot of those. They're in the same situation. They do a game in September, October, getting paid January, February. So it's an option, the arbiter pay. If you have the money and could put it into that account, and you guys would have to sign up for arbiter pay, and then our guys, I told them, if you, someone don't want to do Cherry Hill now because it's arbiter pay, then in 5 years, you won't be working because everybody's going to go to it. It's just the nature of the beast. I think it's a good thing, for that. And like I said, all schools want to go to it in a matter of time. Like Triton, Timber Creek, and Highland, they're talking about going to it next year. The Black Horse Pike School District and the middle schools. The athletic director in Cherry Hill, he has 5 schools. He has 3 middle schools plus the 2 high schools. He loves it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for your service and thank you for
We
bringing it
would,
up to our attention.
somebody will reach out to you tomorrow to get the exact name of that software and to find out the names of those individuals that still need to be paid. But we appreciate your recommendation.
One thing, well, none of my guys have been paid yet, but our season just started. So I'm not concerned about yet. If it reaches into July, August, but I do have about 5 officials that won't come back to do a Camden High game because of last year. And that's wrong. We have to give officials to these schools. I'm from Camden. I know what it's like.
Transparency and accountability all the way around.
The coaches are great. The players are great. Just there's that disconnect, which needs to be addressed. Okay?
Thank you so much,
Thank you
sir.
for your comments.
Thank you.
Ms. Vida Neal?
Good evening. First, I'd like to start off by saying what Dr. Burley meant to me. You know, 3 months ago when I came in here and I gave out pictures of the food, the atrocious food that Aramark serves our children, to the Ms. Wilson and Minister Wasim, she was mad at me. She approached me in the hallway and she said, I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you, Vita. I'm mad at you. Why would you bring them issues to them and not bring them to me, too? I said, Dr. Burley, I bring them to all board members. She said, give me your number. So I gave her my number. And about 3 weeks later, my phone rang. I heard a faint voice, and it was Dr. Burley. She said, I'm not mad at you no more, Vita. She said, you did your job. She said, you an H-raiser. She said, I want you to know I started off as a Camden public school teacher, and I didn't know that. She said, your uncle came and got me, and I've been a politician ever since. She said, but you strong, and you fighting for our people. And you continue to fight. She said, call me next week. I called her back, and she never answered that phone again. I say this to say I made my mess with Dr. Burley. I can stand in front of you today, and she told me she was proud of me. And I say this today to say the work that she and the rest of us have started is going to continue. Now, I'm not going to come up here with no negativity today. I'm going to try to eliminate it because we all got some things going on here. Now, first I want to know, who is this Miss Wilson, who is, I believe she's an operational officer. Last year she made $100,000. This year she's making $110,000. Everybody else got a $2,000 raise. What is she doing for our community? That we don't know this woman, we never seen her, and she's making the same amount the mayor's making. Why are we continuing to pay our people these astronomical fees for no work? $120,000 is a lot of money for somebody we don't know. Who is she? And I want to ask the business administrator, are you certified? Are you certified? The business administrator, is she certified? Can that question be answered? See, because we're not going to have business as usual here no more, people. In case you guys don't know, we want local control of all 9 seats of our school board today. A federal lawsuit. We will have 9 different people up here representing us. Because if any of you consider on running, I'm telling you what's happening. We coming after you. You sat up here and allowed this man to do atrocious things to our school district that resulted in our children not getting services in special ed, getting horrible food, being locked out of their schools, schools being sold. This is the most I ever heard y'all talk. This is the most I ever heard y'all talk. You're talking today, ain't you? Well, we talking tomorrow. We are going to have an election, a school board election, the first time in 12 years. Get your sneakers on, because we got ours on. Peace out, power our people.
Ms. Raksha Dickerson.
Good evening. Raksha Dickerson, Unity Community Center, Camden's Parent Union, Camden Student Union, Camden resident and parent. So I want to start off by thanking you for recognizing the Teachers of the Year of District. They were wonderful selections. And I have a special love for Ms. Nancy Walker-Hunter and also for Mr. High. He is a very good mentor at Forest Hill. We want to keep him there. I also want to start by talking about the event we did at Creative Arts High School, Canva, Creative Arts Morgan Village Academy. Special thank you to Dr. Brockerton, Ms. Shakir, who's the FOC there, and also to the Creative Arts Morgan Village Academy School and Community. On the April 20 was the anniversary of the Columbine High School massacre. And it was a national day of action for students across the country. And Camden had an opportunity to have a student-led panel on how gun violence has affected them, and we called that We Choose to Protect Our Schools. And it was an opportunity for students of color to talk about the racial biases that are happening since the Parkland shooting, how it was a very white narrative. Now it's becoming a black and brown debate on our children suffer these issues constantly, and we have not been given that type of microphone for a long time, but now we're actually
actually getting a voice to this conversation and being able to build opportunities for our children to be inspired and create other safe spaces for themselves. So we had a panel that was led by between 9th to 12th graders, and Ms. Katrina McCombs did recognize that she couldn't attend. I appreciate her recognizing that we were having that day. Mr. Andrew Bell did attend, and the CCSD-TV came and covered. So for the community to know, they will be airing that panel discussion on the Camden City School District's TV station, Channel 19, the course of next week. So it was a very good discussion. It had some follow-up points, and I just want to thank Creative Arts for allowing us Dr. Broxton's wonderful leadership. The second thing I wanted to address was a leak at Forest Hill in the APR room. I had a chance to go through there, and as a mother, as a parent, as a community member, I've raised this point already to Ms. McComb, so I want to bring it out publicly. It is very problematic. Our children are in the APR room, all-purpose room at Forest Hill, and there's water leaking into buckets where they eat, where they play, where they have gym, where they are in a space. We have a special needs children inside that school, and that is problematic. That is disgusting. We should not allow our children to even believe that that's the way we should allow our schools to look. For it to be a public school, it looks really bad. And these are the reasons why I believe that our parents will pull our children out of these schools, because we don't look like we care about our public schools. We have to have a faster turnaround on issues like this. It cannot be allowed to just leak, and it's buckets, and kids think this is the way we're supposed to live in our community. That's unacceptable, and it's very problematic, and I'm asking now to put a rush, make it mandatory, make it so important that it gets done before the school year ends, so children can see that when they ask for something to get done, or parents ask for something to get done, it gets done. The last question I have is there a decrease in physical education, or is there not enough teachers around the district? That's the reason why we're having a rise in discipline issues inside the school. I believe what I'm noticing district-wide is that because there's not enough phys ed teachers in every school, students are not able to get out, way to get off that energy, you know what I mean, be able to exercise and get some of that aggression off, and in return, we're getting high levels of discipline issues happening inside all the schools in the district. So I want to, whoever is in charge of that department, could we have a conversation about how we find best practices, or maybe find more people to support those positions, because I'm noticing it in a lot of the schools that there's not enough phys ed being covered, or they don't have it for certain times of the day. I know there's a level of hours they're supposed to have a week, but I don't think Camden City School District is reaching those hours. So I don't want to point the finger. I just want to ask for support in this to help me get better clarity on what happens if I understand everything correctly. I want to get more clarity, because I'm noticing that children are going to deeper behavior issues because of the lack of discipline. And I just want to bring those three topics up.
Thank you, Ms. Dickerson. Your time is up.
And you know what? I'm done. I'm wrapping.
Okay,
I'm done.
awesome.
So thank you so much. I just want to get those questions answered, and thank you for your time.
Ms. Shamika Hudson.
Good evening. I'm not Shamika, I'm Noor Muhammad, but there was a mix-up. Her name was supposed to be crossed off and not mine. Noor Muhammad, representing Temple number 20 in Camden, New Jersey. Following up on the comments of my sister Vida, I too wanted to just say a few words about Ms. Dot Burley. She was an example to us of caring, compassion, and concern. And she mentored me like she mentored many other people here in the city. And she built a legacy for herself. As I see many of you building legacies, as I see many people here in the audience, particularly my sister Roncha Dickerson, creating a legacy for ourselves. And I think that we would do good by ourselves and our community to take that example of servant leadership and empowering our community and empowering our young people. Just on another note, I don't usually watch the morning news, but I turned on Fox one morning and I saw Ms. McCombs on there. And I have on purple, but I didn't graduate from Camden High. But I felt good to see a hometown woman, representing Camden and doing so with such distinction and class and dignity, and especially representing what our young people need here in the city that's unique to other department or other municipalities, and standing strong on that. So I was very grateful to that, and I urge the board to continue to act in the best interest of our young people, as we will too here in the community. Thank you.
Ms. Sarah Jocelyn.
I want to echo that we need to support our children. I wanted to speak to you about the Earth Day and the environmental impact that we're teaching our children. I know that Urban Promise was involved with tree planting. I heard that the Brim biology students went to visit the CCMUA, but I really was expecting to see a little bit more on the student highlights today because it was just Earth Day last week. So I'm hoping that we are involving our young people. I see that on page 13 we have our sustainability policy for the district, so thank you for putting that in there. But it's really important to have this reach down into all the classrooms because our young people should understand how important science is at all levels of education. I was very pleased to see the financial literacy addressed in the middle school grades. That was an excellent thing to be seeing. It's important for kids to have those basics. I wanted to congratulate Camden City on having the right to do the election of their school board. That's an important step. I thank all the members that have served on the advisory board. And I really appreciate the effort that's gone into getting certified. I'm looking forward to the annual report, which has been delayed some months. And I'm hoping that I will see representation by the board at that meeting when we have the review in front of the State Board of Education. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Felicia Cade Turner, and I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong.
Good evening. Again, my name is Felicia K. Turner. I'm a teacher at Cream and warmly being housed at ECDC. I have a couple of questions. Ms. McComb spoke earlier about two concerns that I have. One, just about Camden High. I know that you said that we have these committees and they were addressing where certain portions of the building is going. So I noticed that they are meticulously taking apart Camden High. They have the turrets at the top that it seems like they're going to remove. I see that the archways are being taken apart as well. The steps are gone and they're also gathering the brick. From what I understand from my family being in construction, but the brick is of high quality, and so I see that they're gathering those materials, so they're not being thrown away. Just wondering, where are they going? Are they going back to the new building so that they can, so I noticed that the picture that was shown, that the turrets are not there. So the gargoyles are gone, the shields are gone. Where are those things? So if we're going to if this is historic, even though we didn't get the certification of being a historic building, these are historic items, I do believe that they should stay with Camden High in Camden City with the school building and for our residents. Also talking about, Ms. McCombs also mentioned about the park for Cream. And Cream has had many challenges regarding the move and getting things done as far as technology and everything of that sort. So I'm just looking to find out exactly what is going to be done for our students who have tried to persevere and push forward, which has been very difficult, but we don't want to discourage them for a situation that's beyond their control. And also, too, as Ms. Dickerson has mentioned before, being that they don't have for gym, they do not have that extra outlet to be able to move around, to let off all that energy, and to be able to refocus, because students can't just sit in a room and just sit in a building and not have anything extra. That's a detriment. That just allows their mind not to flourish, to be creative, or anything of that sort. And so we do not want to continue to punish. We don't want to continue to set students aside for something that is natural if you are locked up in a room sitting next to the same person every day who has that wiggle, and that wiggle is getting on your nerve, and then you're just going to react. So also, too, in the same vein that Ms. Dickerson was speaking on, that we also make sure that our students have more activity as well. Moving forward, as we transition back to CREAM, would like to know exactly how can we do this. We are in different places. We have to pack up at the end of the year. We also would like to be able to walk through the building to see exactly what do we have left. I hear that in my old room, there isn't a ceiling. So everything was taken out. Where are those things? How do we know where our things were placed? Where will they be returned to us? How do we get those things back? And I know it sounds as if, those things could be worked out and, later on, but it would behoove us to be able to plan now as we move forward so we can prepare for the next school year so that we can hit the ground running. We want to be able to welcome our children back into CREAM School with plans in place, with everything where it's supposed to be so that we can address our students who will be coming back with some issues so that we can tackle those things and move our students forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Turner.
Mr. Amir Khan.
Good evening. I just want to real quick first address, without beating it in the ground, really embarrassing for those two gentlemen to come up talking about the refs not being paid. I was at a city council meeting last year, and boy, the exact same thing was presented to the city council. So I don't know what's going on, what's happening between the city council and with Board of Education. I know you guys will address it, but I can tell you, I spoke to the head referee last year. He said right now a lot of these refs are looking at not coming to Camden. And how tragic will that be? So I know you guys are going to look at it. Please, 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 let that be top priority. Also want to thank you guys. Again, sorrowful loss with the young girl that passed away last week after being hit by a car. And obviously, we know the district's not in the business of paying for funerals and things like that, but just the support from the district was great for the family, and they expressed it to me numerous times. There were a lot of other organizations that came in, but the help and support that the district did was tremendous. So again, on behalf of the Perez family, I'd like to say thank you very much for that as well. Brother Wesley. I addressed this before, and some things are kind of heating up now towards it. My cousin, his name is Kamal, Dr. Kamal Khan. He's at Rutgers University, and he started a program over 30 years ago called the Odessa Program. And the Odessa Program is a program that started with the vision of providing rigorous training and support for underrepresented students that need to succeed in medical school. So what they do, that's a newsletter that you have in front of you. And let me just give you an example. What they do is they take students from cities like Camden, underrepresented students, and what they will do is they will take them by the hand from the time before they even come out of high school, and they walk them through boot camps, they walk them through various programs to get them into the college. And once they get into college, the same kind of thing that you did last year or this past year for SAT classes and paid for it, they do the same thing for MCATs and things like that. Really good. You got to imagine what Rutgers does through this program, Odessa, which started 30 years ago. My cousin started it over 30 years ago. Out of the top 4 schools in the entire country that send students to minority students to medical schools, they are number 4. They are number 4. And that's really powerful when you consider the top 3 are schools like Howard, Meharry, other schools that are HBCUs who are already sending kids to medical schools. So Rutgers has a program specifically designed to help students get into these programs. Let me give you an example. Between 1990 and 2016, there were over 1,200 Odessa graduates. Of these students, 410 went on to medical school. Another 238 went to other medical professions like dentistry and biomedical sciences. Data shows that these students outperform their peers in a number of medicine-related courses. One of the students, there are several students now from Camden that are now going through this program. One that's coming from Bryn this year. Her name is Aisha. Her resume, she's currently at a 4.2 grade point average. She ranks near the very top of her class. She has also taken advanced placement courses in English and history. In addition, she's attending Medical Science Academy at Rowan University twice a week. She's going to the boot camp in this program coming up, I think it's next month, and then to another program over the summer, and they'll take her by the hand and walk her through. I just want to introduce the program again. You know, back in the 80s when my dear brother Wasim played for the Panthers on the basketball court, they used to have that thing called the Louisville Connection. And Coach made sure folks were getting into college. They called it the Louisville Pipeline. Today they talk about the pipeline from high school to prison pipeline. You know, I want to talk about the Camden to Rutgers to Doctor pipeline.
Mr. Khan, your time is up. Could you please wrap it up?
Yes, I will. Thank you. This program is something that we can do right now, and we want to get into all the different high schools so that the guidance counselors and those that are dealing with STEM students that want to go into a medical program, they can get into Rutgers, take them by the hand, walk them through that with tremendous success. It's time for a Camden to Rutgers Medical School Doctor pipeline. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Dr. Khan.
Dr. Khan was my father, but that's okay.
Mr. Kevin Barfield.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, first I'd like to give my condolences to Ms. Burley and again, Mr. Dave Warden. Again, as an individual who walked the halls of Camden High, I just remember, you know, positive men. There was definitely a positive influence on our experience there as a young man that always had that caring spirit, always dressed as an example that we all kind of wanted to model and emulate. And as Minister Wasim said, I remember walking past that Alpha House and seeing him there, you know, on those walks through, you know, South Camden. So definitely shocked and saddened by that sudden loss of another great man that I can say that I truly respected and was glad that I had the privilege as a young man to see these positive examples of professional men who came and, you know, helped mold us who we are today, or who I am today. I have a question on as far as page 35 in reference to the school planning implementation team. I see that Wiggins has put that team together, but it's not identifying those particular individuals who are part of that team. For future reference, I will hope that those positions are identified and that we do see some parents that are part of that, especially those parents who have been through leadership training, so they can, you know, truly have some real input in reference to those particular plans that need to be implemented in those schools and actually come from those improvement plans and events that should take place come from what the parents want. Another question too, I didn't know that the board actually approved anything, so I'm kind of confused in reference to, you know, bills and things being, you know, approved by the board, because I'm always hearing approved by the superintendent. So I think that needs to be clarified, because I have never seen the board do a voting on anything since the superintendent has been here. And then I'm gonna go back to, tonight was actually the parent teachers conference. And I'm a little disturbed, again, excuse me, in reference to, I hope that next year, and I hope that, you know, superintendent, if you, deputy, if you are in this position, that we truly go back to changing this this third marking period, parent-teachers conference, at the school over at Woodrow Wilson. I'm really concerned that you have the staff and teachers that are in a cafeteria and parents aren't able to go into the classroom and be able to, you know, my son is in the accelerated program over at Camelot, so just an example, just like tonight. You know, I received the campus improvement plan. I ain't seen nobody giving anything out in reference to plans that should be, you know, submitted to parents for approval or review within these schools throughout the districts, that's a concern. Again, teachers just showing me what lesson plans they're working on, where my son is at, projects and things that he's working on. Going into the classroom, you can't do that in a cafeteria. And it's a disservice that, that parents will not be able to see what's in the classroom, be able to see what the children are working on. Right now, we have issue with parks coming up, and we know that also that there's been some concerns in reference to our technology again. So I would hope that our ears are on the ground in reference to really monitoring the park, our children taking these testing, because of a lot of these areas in the schools are relying on Wi-Fi. And then the more students you have using Wi-Fi, it slows down the process. So this is going to have a direct input on our children taking these tests over these next couple of days. So again, and then the other part I want to also mention is in reference to the Perkins Grant and the CT programs. Again, I would like to know, where can I go to review this Perkins Grant? Because again, I still see that there's not things that should be done within those programs that I would like to see. What is the plan and what is actually written into how this money is being allocated and how it's been used throughout the year, this past year, the up and coming year, because there should be a grant or application from last year to this year that's outlining how that money was allocated to be used.
Mr. Barfield.
So I need to see how I can get a chance to look at that information.
Mr. Sean Brown.
In April 2013, Martha Wilson, Catherine Blackshear, Felicia Reyes Morton, and I, among the other board members, sat in whatever school that board meeting happened to be in that night to listen to Commissioner Cerf. Met with us in closed session to talk about, to listen to what our concerns and what we had to say in the face of the takeover that was impending the next month. I have already requested to a few political leaders that in Camden we have a similar meeting. I'm saying we because I want to go. But there is a similar meeting where the Commissioner of Education and his team meet with Ms. McCombs, some community leaders and board members to have a similar conversation. Let me also say, in that meeting, Commissioner Cerf asked what I thought was a really good question for a person in his position to ask at that time, which is, he said, I want to go around the room and I want you guys to tell me what's going right in the district. The way my grandma would say that is, if somebody can help me out, don't throw away the baby with the bathwater. You knew my grandma. And the way my pastor would say it is, we have to separate the wheat from, right, exactly. So these are exercises that we should always go through of figuring out, what's going right, what's going well, and what's not going well, and what needs to go, or who needs to go. So with that said, I just want to give you, I have some food for thought. It's a thought exercise. I know I'm kind of a broken record on this, but we are in the month of April, leading to the month of May, and April and May, in my view, are the two most critical months for the school district, because you go through the budget, approving the budget, and you also go through reorganization, and it appears that Mayor Moran may be appointing 4 people to the board in a few weeks, which would be really, it could potentially be one of the biggest transitions of who sits on the board since there's been an appointed board in the last 12 years, as was indicated earlier. So, Ms. McCombs, to the board, I encourage you to think of these things. First, right now, with the additional funding that the district found that it got from the state, a little bit different from the budget presentation that we had last month, how are those additional resources and how are the financial resources this district have being allocated in a way that makes sense for all of our schools, for our principals, for our central office, and the needs and resources for the students? Next, how can we support Katrina McCombs in dealing with a very complicated political system in Camden? This is something I've chosen really not to talk about publicly, and I've chosen not to write about, but because of suggestions I got a few people, I'll just say it now. George Norcross, the law firm, and other things have a unique amount of power and influence what happens in the school district. It's not a secret to anybody that pays attention and knows these things. I'm not saying you should fight it or challenge it. I'm saying that you should be aware of it and work within it. And I'm almost done. The board obviously has its own challenges. It has to do with leadership changes that are going on. I highly recommend that tonight this board ask your lawyer for a memo that is protected by attorney-client privilege on what are the steps of getting out of takeover based off of the last QSAC results and what the resignation of Paymon means in terms of allowing for an opportunity for local control to return. I also implore publicly Katrina McCombs as the acting superintendent and the deputy superintendent, a lady I've known since she was principal of Landing Square and had a tremendous amount of confidence in, to use this time as an opportunity to clean house as it needs to be cleaned in the central office. We've seen what hiring a bunch of folks that are unqualified has done, and we've seen what's hiring a bunch of extremely talented and highly qualified people has done in making the transitions that we've seen in the school district. But the work isn't done, which is why we have to be careful, right, of not throwing out the baby with the bathwater, but making sure that chaff is out of here because we don't want it messing up the wheat. We also want to make sure that every single school has the strongest principals and vice principals possible. That means a few folks got to go, a few folks need to be mentored, and a few folks need to continue, as we saw earlier today, to be congratulated for the great work they do. And lastly, the partnerships that we have with people like Rashawn and other people in the community that are in great work in after-school programs, summer programs, supplemental programs, need to happen. Oh, if she's still here, I should have mentioned, by the way, great principals that as long as I get picked in Camden enrollment, whatever you use that phrase, my young son will be going to ECDC because of the confidence I have in Ms. Dobson's leadership and the teacher that he had there. So this is a critical time. I would love to talk to all of you about it. I think I'm mostly your cell phone, so I'll call you this week to talk to you about it more. I encourage you to be strong, to be courageous, because a lot of stuff is about to happen in the next couple of weeks. Let's use our powers for good and see what we can make happen. Thank you.
Hey, we want to thank everyone for your public comments and for your encouragement as well, and for your questions, your very critical questions. We know that when we come together, we may not be able to address everything in detail, but we are going to do the very best that we can to address your questions from the podium, and whatever we cannot address, we will address with you afterwards if we need to gather facts and do so, because we want to present the information with integrity. So I will start from the beginning. And Mr. Carter and also Mr. Clark, our school business administrator, Ms. Anissa Coppin, has already shared that there is a plan in place with urgency, and we will ensure that that occurs to make sure that any outstanding payments are made. We appreciate the partnerships that we have with the referees. We appreciate the partnerships that we have with our organizations that help our students, our athletic programs, and we want to maintain those good partnerships. So again, we don't take it lightly. I know those gentlemen have left already. There are others who are here who are advocating to make sure that they get payment, and we do also want to make sure, we will also ensure that that payment does occur, as Anissa has already shared. Ms. Vida Neal, if she's still here, not sure if she's still, yes, you are, I see you right there. Thank you, I'm sorry. The comments that you made, the specific questions related to specific staff members and their salaries, of course, cannot be addressed in this setting. And I just wanted to share that. Thank you for your other comments, and we take what you said, we value what you said, and we take it under advisement. For Ms. Roncha Dickerson, she's still here. She left. But want to thank you for the National Day of Action, the student-led panel discussions I heard were wonderful, and as she stated, I was not able to be there, but Mr. Bell definitely stepped up and he was able to be there, and in Ms. Dickerson's words, made everyone feel important and very special and very much heard. It was video recorded, so we're looking forward to it airing on our Channel 19 station, but to see our students to be able to exercise their voices and put into practice the lessons that they are learning in their civics and government classes is something that is very valuable and something that we encourage, so thank you. With regard to the questions regarding Forest Hill and the all-purpose room, we do have updates with regard to Forest Hill. We know that Forest Hill has had challenges with its HVAC system and also with its roof. The Schools Development Authority has agreed with the superintendent's press and sharing much information with them and justifying why it's needed, has agreed to replace the roof, which is what is the cause of the leaking that is occurring in the all-purpose room. We have not yet been given the exact timeline. However, we are in regular communication and can follow up again. Our team will follow up again this week, but that money has been designated and promised. The work will be done, but we cannot give you the specific timeline, but we are also advocating that it be done very urgently as well for our students. With regard to physical education, I know Ms. Dickerson touched on that question, and also Ms. Kay Turner from the Cream School also touched on that question. So I want to share what happens specifically with regard to Cream. There are many opportunities for play, and we do, before I go forward, I want to say that the comments that were made are very well taken. We know that our students do need to burn off a lot of their energy, just like we all do. They're sitting for long periods of time, and we do create spaces within the day for recess. Many of our students have recess at lunchtime, but also we have physical education. But more specifically, at Cream School, students have recess daily for 20 minutes after and before lunch. A schedule for outdoor gym usage has been in place since February and is still in place. Even during inclement weather, there is also access to the gym that is able to continue our students' gross motor development. During third quarter health class, when third quarter health class was in session, class was held inside of the classroom. So PE in the gymnasium is in place for fourth quarter. So just want to make sure that's clear. So during the third quarter, the students had health. They were not able to access outside. They still, however, did have their recess time at lunch, but did not have the full health and PE, the full PE time that they would have had, but we are returning to that in the fourth quarter. And that is something that typically happens each year as we alternate between health and our physical education courses. But we will look into finding ways to create more times and opportunities for our children to play that are not going to interrupt the rest of their instructional day as well. Ms. Muhammad, I want to say thank you for your encouragement. I sincerely appreciate it, and will continue to do my best to do whatever I can for the district that has given me so much. Ms. Sarah Jocelyn, yes, there you are. Thank you so much. Earth Day, thank you for always reminding us of the importance of being able to make sure our students understand and are very much conscious of what they need to do as members of this society and this world to ensure that our Earth is the place that we want it to be, to take care of it. We are including lessons in Earth Day. There are activities that are going on, but your point is well taken. Perhaps at the next board meeting we can highlight those events because they are occurring and we were remiss in not highlighting them this month. thank you for acknowledging our efforts to move forward with financial literacy. You have been a definite partner in ensuring that we work together to make sure that we have all of our areas covered, and I sincerely appreciate that. Financial literacy, as you stated, in our middle grades areas, we're moving forward there, but want to continue to refine it and make sure that it is completely well rounded out so that our students get the best there, as we are creating members of citizens in society that we want to make sure can handle their money and can invest it wisely and can make our community better as a result of it. So we want to thank you for that as well. Ms. Kay Turner, you raised a few different questions, and they were very, very good questions, as they always are. So I addressed the cream phys ed question. The materials with regard to the movement back into the original cream building. We want to make sure that you know that we are planning proactively. We do have a project plan that we are preparing now in collaboration with our school support ops team and also our facilities team to ensure that cream will be ready for students to move in for the new school year. Work will be planned and done. We're planning now. Most of the work, of course, and the heavy lifting will be done over the summer months, but teachers will get specific instructions on packing so that they are able to ensure that all of their curricular materials, all of their supplies, anything that's not their personal effects are moved back over to the cream building. And work is being done now in order to ensure that when you move back, that there is no ceiling that's missing. I think you mentioned that, but that you're moving back into environments that are hopefully better than where they were left. And we are investing time, money, and energy, manpower, and womanpower into making sure that that happens. And we are working on it so that we have everything in place prior to the school year starting. You also had some questions specifically about Camden High School and the historical elements in Camden High School. As was mentioned before, the historical committee of Camden High School is really working diligently to ensure that we can salvage as much of the original building that we can. And so we know there are costs associated with most of that. I can tell you just from my memory of last week, and I can get more detailed information for you. The terracotta pieces, that are on the terrafits, I think is what they are called. You may see that. Yes. You may see that, so the gargoyles are separate, but I'll address that as well. But the terracotta, the pieces that I can't find the name to right now, they are there's a plan for one of them to be moved over to the Historical Society right there on right there across from Hatch Middle School, Park Boulevard, so that they can be preserved and placed in like a park area to memorialize. So that piece will not go into the new Camden High School, but there have been specific plans made for that piece because it was too cost prohibitive to take all of them, but we're going to preserve what we can and take it over to the Parkside Historical Society Center, Preservation Society Center, which I am butchering the name, but we are going to definitely make sure that happens. Also, with regard to the marble staircasing and when you enter Camden High School, where the sayings were up on the walls around, on the top of the walls, the very inspirational sayings, there's a plan also in place to ensure that we are preserving those as well, along with some of the trophies and just the very important memorabilia as well. So we can connect afterwards, and I can also have some of my colleagues share with you in a little bit more detail specifically which pieces are being incorporated into the building of Camden High School. All right, Pastor Amir Khan. Yes, you raised the concern as well about ensuring that the referees and persons who are affiliated with officiating our games are paid. And again, I say to you, I appreciate that drive for that encouraging our sense of urgency. We are urgent, and we are going to move forward and make sure that that happens. And thank you for sharing about the Audacious program. Our high school lead is here, Ms. Anna Chirac, and I'm sure she'll be taking this information back. If it is not already in place, we want to make sure that we have more students represented from our city to be able to share, not only that you share this with us, but that we were able to turn it around and see students who are actually participating in and benefiting from the program and who are going on to medical school. So thank you for sharing that information with us. Mr. Barfield? The concern about parent-teacher conferences at Woodrow Wilson High School, and the concern that parents are not able to see the academic environment that their students are learning in each day because the conferences are held in the classroom. At Woodrow Wilson, all teachers are in the cafeteria together. Just want to share this with you, but appreciate your feedback. And I'm not saying that we could not change this moving forward, but just to give you the rationale for why it is the way it is, set up the way it is now. We do it to facilitate parents being able to meet with all teachers, so there is the flow. It's just easier for teachers to meet their parents if the setup is the way it is. Additionally, the rooms are currently covered for Park during this particular parent-teacher conference, not all of them. And so it's not most conducive for visitation. However, we will take your comments into consideration and see if there's maybe a way that we can honor that. Okay. Additionally, with regard to Park, you had questions regarding technology, and I want to let you know that our team had thought some of the same things you mentioned. Users on our Wi-Fi and the pull that has on the technology as it's being used and on our system. And we did look at that proactively with our Mindshift partners as well to determine what needed to happen. So additionally, we ordered 750 devices before Park began. So we wanted to make sure that even though we have devices that are working in our classrooms, we have 750 more that were ordered based on an internal audit to ensure that we had everything in place for Park. Testing has been going on for over a week, and we haven't had significant issues because of the proactivity on the front end. Any minor issues that have surfaced, either with devices or the systems, have been resolved as quickly as possible due to collaboration. And we have a team of people on call to provide provide support during the testing window. So we do have a setup in place so that if there is a concern or if there is a technological glitch, we have a group of people over at the Rig Center who are ready and on standby to troubleshoot any Park concerns. Perkins, you had a question about Perkins as well. You wanted to know whether or not you could have access to be able to review the Perkins grant and questions about allocations. Our team can meet with you, Mr. Barfield, to allow you to review the Perkins plan. The total award is available publicly, but not the breakdown of the programs. So that is also being worked on now. And there is more work to do. However, we can sit down with you to show you what progress has been made in collaboration with the state, and also our vision for the next steps immediately that need to be taken in order to ensure that the Perkins grant information is complete.
Mr. Barfield, Kevin, did you hear that?
And finally, Mr. Brown, again, thank you for your very thoughtful and forward-thinking questions that I will reflect on, and I'm sure we all will reflect on as we consider the context and the state of change, transition that we are in right now. And thank you for also flagging the extra aid that we received as a district. We can be transparent about where those monies are being allocated since it was received after our last meeting where we discussed the budget, and we're very happy to do that as well. But thank you again and look forward to further thought partnering with you on behalf of the children in our city. Just give me 10 seconds to make sure I hit the areas that I have here.
Ms. McComb, I'm sorry, I had a follow-up question to the.
All right, thank you very much. Those are the questions that I have. Again, if I missed anything, I am available to stick around afterwards for a few moments to address any other areas. Turn it over at this time to our board president, Ms. Martha Wilson, to take us further.
At this time, are there any questions from the Board of Education? Ms. Atwood.
Ms. McCombs, and speaking with some of the members of the community at Ms. Dorothy's repass, people were wondering if we are going to connect with Holtec and the different industries in the city that our children, once they can get apprenticeships, or once they leave high school, that they'll be able to go right into those organizations that are here in the city for job preparation and so forth and so on. Yes.
Thank you for that question. That's a great question. It also came up at the Camden High community meeting that we had last week. And our lead high school person, Anna Chirac, our CSSO, is in touch with Minister Chris Collins, and he has the contact for Holtec. I don't know if he was able to share it with you yet or not, Anna, but he has committed to sharing that and connecting us with his contact there so that we can build a pathway. We do have some other partnerships in place with Siemens and Subaru, where we're trying to establish that's the same type of partnership to create that pipeline, and Holtec is one that we are pursuing now. So thank you very much.
I just had a simple question. I thought that we were going to get a presentation. We were going to have another. This meeting was for the additional monies for the budget, so I thought we were going to get a presentation tonight, but it's okay if we're not.
That is forthcoming. Yep, that will be forthcoming. So we will provide that. Yep. So the budget is, we are waiting approval from the county on the budget, the official approval for all budgets. It's not just our district's budget. And so that is what we are waiting on, but we still can provide information on how the funds are allocated. So once that approval has been granted, and we hope it's in place before the next board meeting, we want to be able to share.
So in other words,
You have a follow-up question? Thank you very much. At this time, I'll turn the meeting over to our business administrator to approve.
At this time, I'd like to present the business office agenda items and financial report, which includes a bill list and resolutions for approval.
Okay, thank you very much. In accordance with the powers vested in the State District Superintendent under Title 18A, I hereby approve today's superintendent's agenda items and business office agenda items.
I call for a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? A motion to adjourn was by Ms. Teresa Atwood and second by Mr. Brito Bueno. All in favor? All opposed? The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.